StraightAllDay.com.
Dre Baldwin, workonyourgame.com, workonyourgameuniversity.com. Topic of this video is 2-minute warning energy. If you are a follower of sports, then you know what the 2-minute warning is. If you are not a follower of sports, I'll tell you what it is. 2-minute warning is in football, American football. It's literally a timeout, official timeout that happens during the game when there are only 2 minutes left in either half of the game. So in the first half and then in the fourth quarter at the second half, there's a timeout, official timeout that happens when there's only 2 minutes left. Now, what happens at the 2-minute warning, or as teams right after the 2-minute warning, or as teams are approaching it, what happens? Especially the team that's losing, they usually tend to step up their urgency. They tend to take less time in between plays. Like they take less time in the huddle, or maybe they run what they call the no huddle offense. And they basically just become really, really urgent about using their time as efficiently as possible because they're trying to catch up and close the gap between them and the team that is in the lead as quickly as possible because, well, they only got 2 minutes. Only 2 minutes before the game's over. So they're either going to win the game or they're going to lose the game, but they only got 2 minutes left before it's done. So whatever they were doing up to that point, they try to do all of that a whole lot faster, a whole lot quicker, and a whole lot more effectively because, again, there's only 2 minutes or less remaining in the game. So what does this have to do with you if you're not a football team? What it has to do with you is that this concept, this 2-minute warning energy, is something that I want you to think about how you can put yourself into this mental and emotional space as often as possible, even though you may not be on a literal clock. Everybody's on the clock, technically, because all of us are going to die at some point, so we're all on the clock. The challenge for all of us is that we're on a blind clock. We can't see the clock. We don't know how much time we have left. So if you're 50 years old right now and you're going to live till 80, but you don't actually know that, well, literally you're on a 30-year clock. Now, the challenge with that is, well, a couple challenges. Number one, you don't know exactly how much time you have. And number two, even if you knew and you knew your clock was 30 more years, well, 30 years is a lot more than 2 minutes, which leads to complacency. So since we can't see the clock and we don't know exactly how much time we have, the trick here is, if you even want to call this a trick, the trick is putting yourself in the frame of mind of understanding that since you don't know how much time you have, you need to act as if you don't have any. That's the mentality that you want to put yourself in. I'll give you an example. I was just thinking about this before I recorded this video. A couple of years ago, my wife and I were about to travel abroad. And she had left already, and I hadn't left yet. So I was home in Miami for probably 2 weeks, maybe a week and a half or so by myself. And I have a daily show that has been running since 2016. So I was looking at how many days I was going to be gone, because I was personally going to be gone for 21 days, something like that. I'd be gone. So during those 21 days, I didn't want my show to stop running, and I wanted new material to come out, because I don't do encore episodes. Some people run back the same episode of their show. Like people on podcasts, audio shows, they do this all the time. They run back an old episode that did really well because they think maybe people missed it, or because the episode did really well, they just want to play it again. I don't like doing it. I like to put out all new stuff every day. If my show's gonna be every day, I want new material every day. So I was looking at the calendar and I'm like, man, I don't have enough material to come out. So what did I do? Of course, you know what I did. Over the course of those, let's say 10 days that I was home, before I left on my trip, I was recording like my life depended on it. I was recording 6, 7, 8, 9 episodes a day because I wanted to make sure that I had all the material I was going to need to come out during the time that I was gone, because I wasn't going to be recording anything while I was traveling. And I wanted to give myself a buffer zone there, because I didn't want it to be like I had exactly enough, and then the day that I came home, I needed to record new stuff, because maybe the day I come home, because I was traveling abroad, so I might be jet lagged, I need to catch up on sleep. I got all these other things I need to do that wasn't getting done while I was gone. I didn't want any of that to be all piling in on me, and I don't want the recordings to be piling on me in addition to everything else I'm probably going to have to do once I get back. So I wanted to have a buffer. So I wanted to give myself another 10 days. I recorded so many material over the course of those 10 days, and it got me thinking about what I'm talking to you all right now about is, why can't I record with that kind of urgency and at that kind of pace all the time? Because then I would have a year's worth of material today ahead of the date that I'm at. So I can take a whole year off if I wanted to, because I already got the material done because I had the urgency to get it done. And this is the same thing that I want you all to do. And I was thinking about this with, you think about someone like, those of you who listen to hip-hop music, think of someone like Tupac. Now, assuming that Tupac is actually dead, because for many years there was this running thing that Tupac's not dead, he's actually alive. And people would make jokes like he's the hardest working dead man I've ever seen. Because after Tupac died, it was all this Tupac music that came out. Like whole albums worth of Tupac stuff came out after he was dead, allegedly dead. And the reason that many people gave who said he is actually dead was that Tupac just recorded a lot when he was alive. He recorded so much as if he knew at some point he wasn't going to be around to do any more recording. And I guess he was right, because he did die. I mean, he predicted that in his own rhymes that he was going to get murdered. He did get murdered. And after he died, a whole bunch of his music was coming out because he had recorded so much material. And this is the same thing that I want you to put yourself in this frame of mind when it comes to your life and whatever it is that you do. So maybe your stuff is not recording a masterclass or making rap songs like Tupac or recording a masterclass like me, but whatever your thing is your thing writing books. I was reading my favorite author is a guy named Robert Greene. He wrote the 48 Laws of Power and several other books. And he was doing an AMA on Reddit many years ago. This is probably 10 plus years ago. And someone asked him, since you write about all these, philosophical things, what's one thing that maybe you would have done applying from your own books? What's something that you feel like you could have applied better from your own writing? And Robert Greene said definitely what he calls the death ground strategy, which is in another one of my favorite books called The 33 Strategies of War. And he said, had he had more urgency, this is Robert talking, if he had more urgency about his own writing career earlier in his life, he would have written 50 books. And by that point, he was doing the AMA. He said, by this point, I would have been retired and living on the French Riviera somewhere, because I would have got all my writing out of me much earlier. But because I didn't have the urgency, as much as I write about my books, I am still writing to this very day. And that's the kind of thing that I want you to think about. Think about that when it comes to if you're a YouTuber, you're a podcaster, you're an athlete, whatever it is that you're doing, how can you get as much out of yourself as quickly as possible now, with the understanding that your time is limited and you don't know how limited that time is, and moving yourself to act with the same urgency of that 2-minute warning, or when you're moving about from one place to another. And then when you're going somewhere and you're like, all right, if the navigation says it'll take me exactly 15 minutes to get from where I'm at to where I'm going, and my next meeting starts in exactly 20 minutes, so I got like a 5-minute buffer zone, so I need to really, really do this. Or maybe your meeting starts in exactly 15 minutes, so you literally need to get there in exactly 15 minutes, so you're going a little bit faster, you're not lollygagging at lights, you're not letting people, you're not, whatever it is that you would do if you felt like you had time when you're driving, but you drive like with a sense of urgency, knowing that you don't have time and you got to make every second count. How can you start operating with that type of energy all the time, all day, especially in the most important aspects of your life? What are the most important aspects of your life, first of all? And then what would the 2-minute warning energy in that aspect of your life look like? And then how can you start applying it? Those are the questions you should start asking yourself right now, given what I just said. So with what I just said, Work on Your Game University, if you would like some help with someone helping you decide and figure out what those things are, strategizing and systematizing how you can start operating with that 2-minute warning energy, some tools and some ideas and some processes and some accountability to make sure that you're actually doing it, and the mindset to make all of this work, I'm the person who can help you, and I do that all in my program, and it's called Work on Your Game University. That's where we work with high-level people who are looking to perform at high levels of performance and high levels of output. Again, that's Work on Your Game University. Our 4 pillars of what we do. Is not all of what we do, but it's based on mindset, strategy, systems, and accountability. This is all for high performance done consistently to produce results. If that's what you want to perform at a really high level, you want to do it all the time, and you want to produce results in your life, go to workonyourgameuniversity.com. I will help you. I will coach you. I will introduce you to all of our trainings, all of our programs, all of our frameworks to make it work. I've systematized all this stuff, and that's where it happens. Again, workonyourgameuniversity.com. Links down below in the description to this video, and work on your game. Dre, all